Alright, so a lot of mock trades have actually been going around pretty recently. A lot of them have actually been pretty decent, and some have not been not so decent. But today I'd kind of, thought, let's go over this one that's been kind of circling around a little bit and kind of see if we can, get your thoughts and opinions on this, and of course then my thoughts and opinions on this. So then let me know in the comments down below if you guys would do this trade or not. But there is currently a blockbuster trade idea going around that would send Paul George to the Golden State Warriors, where the Los Angeles Clippers would actually receive Andrew Wiggins, James Wiseman, pick 7, and pick 14. Now, let me talk about why this is a terrible trade for the Los Angeles Clippers before I get into how the Golden State Warriors absolutely crush this trade. Now, when we think about it like this, right, the Clippers, I know they might not be as good next season, because I believe Kawhi Leonard will be out for, up to 8 months kind of starting now, so he'll probably miss the first couple months of next season and then kind of struggle when he gets back. So look, they're probably not going to be a championship contender just because of this situation. So one might argue, alright, maybe they should tank the season and get a high pick to help, of course, Kawhi Leonard, and see if they can develop some more role players. In my opinion, though, it's still a terrible idea, because if we saw what Paul George and the LA Clippers did without Kawhi Leonard in the playoffs, I think this team is very, very close. In my opinion, they've got one of the best coaches in the league in Tyronn Lue. I very much like Ty Lue and what he's been able to do with the Clippers. Look, if you can argue with me and tell me that he's a bad coach, I will completely disagree with you, and my proof of this will legitimately show you what he was able to do in the conference finals with Paul George and this, relatively injured Clippers team. I think he's a very good coach, and I think that they're really one piece away, in my opinion. The Clippers are one piece away from being a championship contender. In my opinion, it's probably a point guard. Like, I look like what Terrence Mann did, don't get me wrong. That makes a lot of sense to try and bring him back, which I believe he'll be a free agent. But again, he did really, really well for this Clippers team, and he kind of played a lot of that point guard, position, which is kind of, what he will be probably in the future. But I also think he can guard that more shooting guard type of position now. But again, you have him, and you do still have Reggie Jackson and whatnot. But my issue is, I still think you need another point guard, like the guy. Like, I still feel like you can have Reggie Jackson as your backup dude and have, Trey Mann as your backup, shooting guard, maybe even some small ball, small forward here and there, especially if you keep Pat Beverly, which I think they might. I don't know what they're going to do with Pat Beverly. Like, if they get another point guard in, it might be bye-bye to Pat Beverly. But the guy I'm kind of talking about who I think they should, get in is Kyle Lowry. I think he's like their missing dude. And I think he might want to play with Kawhi again. I just think, though, Lowry will either go to the New York Knicks or the Philadelphia 76ers in free agency. Could partner up with DeMar on that New York Knicks team or 76ers team as well, especially if they're trading Ben Simmons. So, again, I'm not too sure if he will be their guy. I think he should be, but I don't think he will come. So, again, they're really one piece away. They don't need to make this trade at all, in my opinion. And again, if you're the Clippers, that's not enough. Like, pick 7, look, that could be a good play here and there. Like, you could legitimately get a dude like Davion Mitchell in, who could be a young point guard for your team. But is Kawhi Leonard going to be able to win a championship with his second best player being like Marcus Morris or someone like that? No. They're role players, and they do their job perfectly, and they're not stars. Like, you can't expect that from Kawhi, especially coming off an ACL injury. Not just that, who knows how good James Wiseman will be. Pick 14 as well. Might not be someone very useful to the Clippers at all. And of course, Andrew Wiggins is really good. He'd actually probably be their second best player, but let's be honest here, they're probably still not going to win a championship with Andrew Wiggins as their second option. In my opinion, he's more of like a third option type guy now, which I think is why he'd be still pretty good for the Golden State Warriors, Klay Thompson and Steph Curry being in front of him, and he can be the third option behind him. But if they can get Paul George to the team, if the Golden State Warriors can realistically get Paul George to the team, they're winning the championship. Like, that's just as simple as that, in my opinion. Like, I know Klay Thompson, he might not come back fully healthy, and look, I do pray that he does. But let's be honest here. They're probably going to win the championship. You can't expect a team that could have like a group of, you know, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Paul George. You'd probably still bring back Kelly Oubre, and then maybe Draymond Green, all in that starting five. That's an elite starting five. Plus, you could have like Kent Bazemore off the bench. It's rumored they're interested in like Carmelo Anthony, etc. This team shouldn't lose. Like, it shouldn't lose at all. It would be an unbelievable team to maybe see, in my opinion. But will it all happen? No, this trade isn't happening. If you're a Clippers fan, you can take a deep breath. This trade is not happening. I still think Paul George, you also have to give up more up to get Paul George, in my opinion. Like, he's a contracted guy on an elite team who just showed how good of a player he still is. You're going to have to give up more than Andrew Wiggins, James Wiseman, and 2 first-round picks, a 7 and 14. You probably have to give up some future picks here and there, especially all, you know, what the Clippers had to get Paul George and the value that he's just shown he still has in the playoffs. So, again, it's so silly, really. I just can't see this happening at all. But, of course, I'd really like to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for all the latest NBA content and NBA news. Of course, don't forget to subscribe to my gaming channel, MIRO/LongChallenge. And don't forget to check out my podcast as well if you haven't already, which I will all be linking in the description down below. But as I was saying, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.